First of all, hello. Honored to be here. Also, I have been so stressed by you students bringing up devices to read your remarks. I don't know how you do it. I would be terrified that the screen would go blank or my power would go out, so I'm going to read off paper. I hope that's okay. I haven't called myself out yet, but I thank you, Tova, for a wonderful, wonderful presentation that you did all by your phone. So that alone deserves an incredible tip of the hat from me. Also, this is a great view, you guys. If you can get here, I highly recommend it. If one of these days you can come up here, you can make it up here, and you get a really nice look out over the campus. So it is an honor to be here, 32 years after I sat where you are. Oh, that really hurts to say that out loud. I want to thank President Green, the Board of Trustees, for this opportunity. And I'm not going to lie, I am nervous and humbled, but fundamentally, I am grateful. So before I begin, I want to honor those who helped make my journey from where you are sitting there to where I am today. The professors and classmates, roommates, teammates from Colby who challenged me, supported me, laughed with me, somehow never telling me that a perm, one with also a mullet, was a bad idea. My mom is here too in the audience. I invited her here so I could thank her in front of this small little crowd for the role she played in getting me here. And yes, give her a round of applause, all the moms. This weekend is about you, graduates, but it's also a time to thank the parents and mentors, teachers, family members whose often private toil, sacrifice, and commitment helped make this moment possible. It's also time to honor the bittersweetness of this day, to acknowledge the sadness that accompanies this day of joy. As we celebrate all you've gained in your time at Colby, it's important to recognize those things that many of you may have also lost during the most recent chapter of your lives. And to that, I can relate. 2 years after I left here, on my graduation day, my father passed away. And as the oldest, I was the only one of his 3 kids he was able to see graduate from college. And I can still feel his spirit here. I have a photo of the 2 of us standing near Johnson Pond on my bedside table. He was a man devoted to the liberal arts education. He was a religion major who ended up in finance. He was the one who took me on the Colby tour, which I loved, and then drove me along those icy, narrow, winding roads to Middlebury, where I immediately declared that I hated it the minute I got out of the car and wanted to apply early decision to Colby, which I think was a pretty good decision all around. I was very proud of him. I wanted to make him proud. I think that he would be. So graduates, now on to you. You are headed into a world that feels more disruptive, divisive, angrier than ever. My generation, the one ahead of me, we wring our hands, we worry that our kids and grandkids are headed into an America they don't recognize. The social fabric has frayed, perhaps beyond repair. Technology, instead of drawing us together, has divided us more cleanly into red and blue teams. And of course, there's the fear that AI and robots will take all the jobs and then, of course, eventually come and destroy the human race. But guess what? You don't have to accept that narrative. It's not yours. You didn't create it. You don't have to own it. For years, we've seen polling showing Americans losing faith in our bedrock institutions. The only solution, we're told, is blow them up completely or return them to their former glory. But your generation has found another way. You're redefining our institutions. The way you see everything, from politics to gender to race and class, is as radically and beautifully different than any other generation. That doesn't mean you don't have core values or that you have the wrong priorities. You are making our institution fit the 21st century instead of trying to shove the 21st century realities into boxes in which they no longer fit. And speaking of values and priorities, I know that many, if not most of you, are getting a lot of advice here from your friends and family in the audience. What are you doing next year? You majored in, interesting. What does one do with that? Oh, you're moving, what, is that safe? Are you gonna be okay? I was 30 years old before I figured out what I really love to do, and it took me another 15 to get good enough at it to do what I'm doing right now. And a lot of my success is hard work and luck and being in the right place at the right time and doing the jobs that no one else wanted. The day-to-day path to success is filled with lots of boring and seemingly unremarkable decisions and choices. There are thousands of meetings and interviews and emails. People like to talk about how the point of life isn't the destination, but the journey. And sometimes the journey is just like a journey. But here's the thing. The real keys to success come not from getting the right job or the best graduate school. They come instead from knowing your own value and values. You get where you want to go with your own internal GPS to guide you. Over time and through experience, I've come to understand what I valued: empathy, kindness, honesty. These traits aren't always appreciated or rewarded, especially in Washington or in politics, but they matter to me. And without them, I'm sure that any success I would have gained would have felt hollow. There's something else too. Your generation has been told that failure is not only a terrible thing, but an avoidable thing as well. We know the data. Fewer people your age are driving or dating or engaging in age-appropriate risky behaviors. There's this belief that failure is something to be ashamed of and avoided at all costs. But avoiding failure won't make you happier. It will only make you more anxious. A few years ago, I was watching the Olympics and I stumbled on the last few minutes of the women's cycling race. And I'm a cyclist myself, so I was already interested. But what really drew me in was the fact that an American was in the lead with just a few miles to go. And she had a cluster of riders behind her. And as the miles clicked down, those riders were getting closer and closer. And as the finish line came into view, one rider passed her, and then another, and then a third. And this American, Mara Abbott, came in 4th place. And the outcome was agonizing to watch, but really what stuck with me was an essay she wrote the week later in the Wall Street Journal. What really breaks my heart, she wrote, was that before the race, people told me I was gold medal capable, but I never believed it until the split second when I saw the 300 meters to go banner and when I looked under my arm to see the winning sprint fly by. And then this was the sentence that just really socked me in the gut. Wins, she wrote, are never assured, but I always had that potential. I just never let myself enjoy it. And that is a regret. How many times have I, or you, dismissed compliments or encouragement because I was worried I wouldn't live up to those expectations? If I don't accept the premise of the praise, then I can't disappoint, can I? And what happens if you believe those who see the greatness within you, and if you still fall short? Or as Mara Abbott said in a TED Talk soon after the Olympics, would you rather have an excuse as a sort of talisman that you can massage forever, saying, I could have, but? Or would you rather know you had given absolutely everything of yourself to the task, but that everything might not be enough? What if you make yourself vulnerable? What if you let yourself believe in something? What if you do everything right and still fail? This aversion to failure isn't something unique to your generation, but I feel like it has been exacerbated by all kinds of things that are unique to your generation: technology and COVID and the pressures of the modern world. Since you've been kids, adults have told you to be worried about everything that comes from the online space. One stupid Facebook post, one errant text, one middle of the night social media post can cost you college admission or a job. It's not something we had to deal with. But that shouldn't stop you from living your life. And as I've gotten older, the one thing I've learned is that no one is keeping score. They aren't, not of your successes or your failures. You're the only one doing that. There's not a cosmic scoreboard out there that's keeping track of your hits and misses. The only thing you can do is to be honest with yourself, to appreciate you are never, ever gonna know it all, that uncertainty isn't to be tamed or denied, it lives with you. And that is hard to admit for someone like me, who was just introduced as somebody who knows things and can explain what it all means, but it's true. I don't know everything, and guess what? No one does. No one knows everything. And finally, I want to acknowledge that I'm but one small example of the Colby proof of concept. There are so many Colby grads out in the world doing amazing things, living extraordinary lives. I'd like to say I got where I am today, not despite the fact that I went to a small liberal arts college in central Maine. I'm here because of the experience I had at this small liberal arts college in central Maine. Here's where I honed the skills I use every single day in my life and in my career, to think critically, to be curious, to be empathetic, to appreciate the wonder of the natural world around us. So to wrap it up, I'll say this. You don't have to have it all figured out. This amazing place has helped give you the tools, so trust them and trust yourself. Sharpen those tools and you will sharpen yourself. Focus less on what you're going to do and focus more on who you're going to be. And with that, you will never fail. So congratulations, class of 2023. You are ready for this. The world needs you now more than ever. Congratulations to you.